Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Your Football Show, and it's time for the Premier League preview show. I'm absolutely hyped, to be honest. I can't wait to do this. I've missed the lads. It's been a long 2 week since we actually got together. So it's nice to do this. Thank you for those that were just waiting patiently. As I say, we haven't spoken, so we were just having a nice little chinwag there. So yeah, that's great. I also haven't done a video since the weekend. I just want to basically, I passed 10,000 subscribers the other day. I didn't put it out on socials or anything like that. I didn't want to do that, but I just thought those that have subscribed to the channel, I want to say thank you so much for getting me to 10k. Yeah, thanks so much for the support. While I'm on that as well, please do subscribe to the lads' channels that are in the description. So we've obviously got I put the West Ham way on again, brother.
Don't worry, bro. Don't worry, man.
Yeah,
we'll sort it out.
We'll sort it out. Make sure you check out Corey's stuff, including his Twitter as well. You've also got Oscar at All Leeds TV. Make sure you check him out. And we have the returning Jack from Matchday Vlogs for the Southampton perspective. How you doing, mate? You all right? It's been a while, hasn't it?
I know, mate. It feels like a long time. But I've watched so much of your content recently, so it's been all fire. I've been loving it.
Good.
You know what,
that's
mate?
so nice.
I've been falling for the clickbait. That's what I think. I just see it like, yeah, this guy's got me. I like his content.
I love that bit. I love that. Yeah. We was having a laugh about that. I do midweek fix with the Leeds, with a couple of Leeds fans, and they were saying exactly the same. But they said, as I always say, if you can't beat them, join them. You can't beat them, join them. That's what I say. I also going to apologise as well because I got because there is I keep doing this Shan American accent. And I've actually had loads of comments saying, will you stop doing the American accent, Joe? So I was like, right, okay, I'm sorry. And I'm also going to stop doing it moving forward as well, okay? I will stop doing that as well, I promise you, okay? But yeah, listen, before we get into what we're going to chat about tonight, I just want to find out how you're all doing. So, Corey, how are you, brother? How was the international break? What have you been up to?
It was horrible. It dragged more than I wanted it to. I spent both games going, please don't play Declan Rice, and Southgate played him for 90 minutes in a friendly, which I'm not too happy about. If he'd done it on the Saturday, I would have felt a little bit better. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back to it, mate. It was a bit of a weird end to the break beforehand. We obviously beat Sevilla, which was a nuts game and atmosphere, and then we lost to Spurs, so it was kind of the contrast of the two. But yeah, the next couple of games are massive for us. We got Lyon as well on Thursday, so all steaming ahead, mate. Get the content rolling, and yeah, I've got to get back on the wagon, so I'm looking forward to it.
And what is that? What does that wagon look like? Is that a Corey wagon, or is that a West Ham Way wagon? What's the story?
No, it's just a purely me wagon. Yeah, I'm trying to. I had to say to Matisse, look, I haven't even branded it. I haven't done anything with it. You're just gonna have to put it out there and go from there. But to be honest, I am enjoying just randomly uploading things and just being a little bit more sporadic with it, and
So has this gone live, bro?
Yeah, it has gone live. Yeah, it has.
Really?
Yeah, it has.
I feel so...
There's no launch. I'm not very good at selling myself, so I just do it and go, there you go, you can watch it if you want. If you don't, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'll probably get around to it.
Right, I need what I'm gonna do now, people, right? Just while when I ask Oscar how he's doing, what I'm gonna do is gonna get Corey's link, to his channel, right? I'm gonna put it in the description, so replace it with the one that we've got. Right, then go back and then make sure you subscribe to that. Because listen, on a level, I know you all absolutely love Corey. He's a mainstay on this. Never lets me down. He's an absolute legend. Not saying Oscar lets me down at any point. Well, he does. He does. He's a busy guy. No, but listen, make sure you subscribe to Corey's stuff, man. He's a legend, and you all know that. So I'm gonna do that now while Oscar bores us with his international break stories. Look, he's on mute. Look,
you want a big long answer off me now, don't you? So you've got time to copy and paste it. I could just give you a one-word answer right now. I bet it's awkward. No. International break. I've got to agree with Corey. It's absolutely shocking. Out of the England games, I watched one half on a stag night on Saturday. The first half. And Luke Shaw's just hit one from 30 yards, and I don't know how we won that game, to be honest with you, because we are absolutely battered. Pickford, to be fair to him, made a couple of really, really good saves, but yeah, it wasn't great. I cannot believe. I mean, look, I've got nothing against Kyle Walker-Peters or Tyrick Mitchell, But the amount of different options we've got at fullback, the amount of different options they've got.
And there's one clear choice, and he played.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ben White was playing right back in the end. So, I mean, that was a bit
he did all right. But I'm looking at it thinking, how is it? And then Ben White plays right back on Tuesday, didn't he? I'm right in saying?
Yeah.
Did he? Did he play? Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, of course he did. Yeah. He went to the back four.
That's where, you're looking at it thinking, there's a bit of a strange choice. Ollie Watkins played up top as well. So I'm thinking, are we really picking our best players at this moment in time? That's me as a question. But it's just boring, isn't it? International football. Absolutely awful. And Max Verstappen won the Formula One. So it was a pretty poor weekend sporting-wise. But yeah, is that a long enough answer for you, Joe?
Is that yeah? That was long enough, man. That was long enough. Just it's actually interesting because I was like I say, I've tried to have some time away. I do listen to my podcasts as often as I can. And there was one, and it was an interview with Kyle Walker-Peters. And Jack, you can come in on this. And they were asking me about could he be England's next Philip Lahl? What am I listening to here? Like, what is this a genuine conversation? And I guess, Jack, you'll know about this because he actually answered it, right? I don't know if you missed that. I don't know if he was in a press conference or whatever. It was just like a news podcast that I listened to on the daily, and it was on about Kyle Walker-Peters, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's amazing to be linked to him." And I was like, "Are you being for real? Like, is that what we're doing?"
Yeah, it's because Ralph came out and said that he reminds him, and it's been doing the rounds, and it's a real nice treat. But here's the thing: we've already got the Cornish, Alonso at the back there. I mean, like Jack Stevens next to him. They're all of that elite level. They all are. That we just don't go around talking about it. So it's nice that people are talking about Kyle Walker-Peters like that. But you are right. He isn't in that talk right now for that position. It was just nice to watch him play. To be honest, I didn't really want him there for the friendlies. Like you wouldn't want Rice there. You didn't really want any of your players there, do you? The only one that I don't mind is James Ward-Prowse because he's an absolute tank and he can play 500 minutes in a week, and it doesn't really bother him.
Yeah, I don't like Jared Bowen there, but unfortunately, he's injured.
Yeah.
Do you know what? As well, I was listening to again. I come back to my podcast, but I think it's worthwhile just while we're on that. Do you think now, Corey, that Bowen's missed the boat a little bit because by the time we get round to the summer, I think it's the Nations League, and you'd think Gareth will want to go with his tried and tested and maybe have an eye on the Qatar World Cup, which will only be a couple of months away. So will he want to experiment as such? And therefore, and it's bad. It's so sad because I believe Jared Bowen does deserve the call-up, and he's so unlucky he's got injured. But do you think maybe it's come too soon for him now?
Yeah, am I right in saying the Nations League is in June? Is it June?
Yes,
July,
summertime. Yeah.
There is time for him to get a chance, but I completely agree with what you're saying. Is Southgate, even in the Nations League, going to sit there and say this is his time to experiment with players? I think when you actually sit down, look at the fixtures, I think it's Hungary, Italy, and Germany. They're all great tests, albeit Italy, of course, didn't get through. So you are right in that sense. It's so poor timing. I think in terms of form and goal contributions, he's up there this season. He really is, and he's an absolute star. But at the end of the day, as much as I would love him to have an England call up, and listen, I'm sure he will, and he'll keep improving. We need him bad. I'm even to the point I wouldn't risk him on Sunday. So, yeah, gutted for him, really. He definitely deserves it, and it's unfortunate, isn't it? Sometimes it's just the way it goes.
Yeah, it is definitely for sure. It's
Tomori, I think, is being robbed as well. I think AC Milan are top of the Serie A, and you can't get a game in centre back. I'm thinking, surely this week was the time to really put him in there. Obviously with the injuries we've had and that lot, and you're thinking Tyrone Mings versus Tomori. I'm thinking it's a great chance to give Tomori a game, see what he can do. Connor Cody wasn't great against us, was he? He got back in the squad. I'm thinking what a great opportunity that was to see what he can do in the team. Because obviously Maguire took a lot of stick, but that was a real opportunity to really experiment. I thought, obviously we experimented with Ben White at right back, saw what he could do. Really could have gone with Tomori there for me. That's one that's annoyed me a little bit, to be fair, because I think he offers something a bit different to all our other centre backs. He's got that bit of aggression about him for me. He's a bit more of an old school type of centre back, and I quite like that in a back three or in a back four. I think he might not be a starter, but nice option to have at the tournament, but probably not even going to go now.
No, definitely not. And I think it's a lot to be said about how Gareth sees the importance of the group. And if you have, a centre back, and I agree with you, I think he should be in there. But is it like, if he's not going to start, do I want to upset the group? Do I know what his character's like? All this sort of stuff. When apparently Conor Cody's like well liked around the place. Mings obviously when he did. But look, I am nowhere near Mings' biggest fan at all. But when he did come in the Euros, I thought he did well. And is it a case of like Gareth don't want to?
But one of those games was against Scotland. I'm just going to add.
Fair, yeah.
I remember that. I think so. Yeah, I mean, maybe credit to him. The Mings thing, I won't get my head around. I do appreciate that there's the importance of the squad. I do think there are centre backs like Ben White and Tomori that really could step up. One thing I will say I was impressed with was Conor Gallagher. I know it's just a friendly, but he gives us something different in that midfield. And I think going into the Euros, it felt like it's Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips, Jordan Henderson, and it kind of felt a little bit safe that you're going to play a double pivot. But now you've got Bellingham really coming to the fore and Gallagher in terms of forward options. That's exciting. So I think we're peaking in that sense at the right time. And of course, James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say I was going to stick you with
He wouldn't have said it if Jack were here. I can't lie.
Listen, it's hard to admit sometimes, but he is there and he does exist, and sometimes we get to talk about him, and it's nice.
Yeah, but on a level, though, I found, especially in the Euros, I think anyway, regardless if Calvin was in there or not, my interest was still heightened just because of the group, and we're going to speak a little bit about that a little bit later on when we speak about Maguire and stuff. But do you find when Kyle Walker-Peters and Prowse and that are in there, as a fan, you're just so much more interested, right? Because it's your boys kind of thing.
There's a few things that I kind of miss about like the England squad, and one of them is, first of all, seeing Southampton plays in there, because it seems like forever since the last time it was like rampant. It was when Rodriguez, Lallana, and Lambert all sort of came through, and it was like this nice little crop. It's just been feels so long. I don't know what I've really missed. I've really missed. Did any of you go watch it like when England were on tour back in the day? Like when they played like the Stadium of Light and like St. Mary's and stuff like that. I just kind of missed what England, like the out and aboutness of it, the more community driven side of it. And it's just, but to have the players back in there, it feels a little bit nicer. But to be honest, when it's these friendlies like this, I just really don't care. I find it so hard to care. Then when you hear, we'll talk about Maguire in a bit, but when you hear like people kicking off at friendlies, you're like, oh, really? Come on.
Yeah, is it really that?
What are we doing? What are we doing? This is for all of us. Let's just get through this.
Let's all just get on. Yeah. Before we get to Maguire, I want to ask, because I was actually thinking about this the other day, Oscar. Now, I don't think this is in question, right? I do think Phillips goes to the World Cup, 100%. That's not even in question, right? But I do think it's mad because it's hard for me to say as a Leeds fan. I was like, what
are you say? You're worrying me now. Well, you're worrying me.
No, because this is what I mean. I should have thought about this before. But I was thinking, do I do a video on this? And I thought, no, I'll get absolutely hammered. But I think, I'm not saying I agree with it, but I think Calvin's place is in jeopardy due to Bellingham. Do you see that?
In its entirety, or are you talking about the squad? So you think he'll get to the squad, but he won't start?
No, he'll get in the squad, yeah, but for the starting 11.
But why would you change it? Why would you change the
midfield? I'm not saying I go along with that, but I think it's a conversation that probably we need to accept. Probably gonna happen, especially by non-Leeds fans. And I'm not saying I would change it, but it's again, that's why I put it out there just to get what your guys' opinion. I think I'm thinking, okay, that because. And if it's not, this will be their last time for Calvin as well. I think, and then because Bellingham's
he's only 26.
20. No, I do. No, but Bellingham's that good, bro.
Yeah, but you're making Calvin out to be like he's in his mid-30s or something when you say it'll be his last time.
No, but when you compare him to Declan and
he'll be in and around the outfit. Of course he will. I know you're just saying in terms of because the pressure is on Bellingham starting because he is 100%. So good. The one thing I would say is, whilst I do appreciate that, and I think if you're going player for player and you're looking at Dec and Bellingham, particularly at the minute because Calvin's injured, you could understand why you'd play them together. But at the same time, you look at the chemistry that Calvin and Declan Rice have in that holding midfield position in tournament football. is absolutely crucial. And if you actually look at how Declan's developed his game in being more of a number 8 or more of a box to box, that role of Calvin's so important. So I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. And I think if Southgate it can get Calvin Phillips fit for 3-4 months and he's playing regularly and he's in good form, I still think he goes into it starting.
I totally agree. I think you got to look at it as well as the team around them. If you start putting Jude Bellingham in midfield with Declan Rice is probably one of the best midfielders in the Premier League at this moment in time. There's no doubt about that. But he's not playing to hold a midfielder, like an out-and-out holding midfielder. You know, he's got Souček alongside him. He's playing in a 2. At the Euros, he's playing in a 2 alongside Calvin. So I'm looking at it from that point of view. I'm thinking we conceded one goal in the whole tournament, none from open play. So as a unit, it works really well. And then when you're thinking, I'd like to think Southgate will see sense and play Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back and find a way to get Trent into the team because his delivery is absolutely unbelievable. If he's pinging balls into the box for Harry Kane, it's a real cheat code for England. But if you're playing Trent Alexander-Arnold and probably Ben Chilwell, maybe Luke Shaw, whoever it is, a more attack-minded left-back, you need Calvin and Rice there to cover. You know, if we lose the ball, you need to go over and cover that side of the pitch. That's what Calvin does absolutely brilliantly. And then obviously you're looking at like the forward areas. Your Phil Fodens, Jack Grealish, Sterling, Kane, whoever it is, Mounts, Bellingham. Who actually, I believe Bellingham was actually playing as a number 10 against the Ivory Coast. So you know, it's a totally different role, playing higher up the pitch, playing more defensive. You know, that's something else to bear in mind as well.
I think it was put to Southgate as well, and I think he mentioned about how I think he said Henderson, Rice, and Phillips like understand the tactical side of the game so much more as well, and there's so much more growing for Bellingham to do. And I'm not saying for 1 second, you know, I'm not advocating that change. But I think it's something that he needs to look over his shoulder for. Do you know what I mean?
Well, no one should be comfortable in this England team. Yeah, true. No one should be comfortable. I think, as much as we're going to talk about Harry Maguire, I think Ben White on form is putting massive pressure on Harry Maguire. I think Tomori really should be putting massive pressure on Harry Maguire. John Stones isn't starting week in, week out for City. And then you're looking at the other areas, Pickford and Ramsdale. I don't think anyone, apart from obviously Kane, Sterling and Rice, I don't think anyone's particularly guaranteed a start other than those three, to be totally honest with you, at this moment in time.
No, that's fair. I need to apologise to one of the moderators, Molotai Harmony. She says, I did it. She's Swedish, so understandably, she's upset as well, being knocked out of the world. You know, we're chatting about that, you know, so Harmony, sincere apologies, but we are just going to speak some more. I suppose it's England and club, right? Because I want to get the guy's opinion on Harry Maguire and the boos that he received, and just maybe, to be honest, I didn't watch the game. I'd had an early night. I woke up and I seen it all over social media, so I was like, "What's all this?" And it annoyed me a little bit. Like I was like, "Why?" I think as well, like. For me, because some of the tweets and stuff, I was reading some of the comments, and they weren't all Man United fans. And this is what I couldn't grasp. I think if it's Man United fans in that stadium all booing him, then I sort of get it. And there's no way of knowing if it were or it weren't. But I'm actually seeing active supporters of him being booed by fans of opposing clubs. And that's what I couldn't get my head around, because I'm like, you're not a Man United fan. So why are you booing him? Like Rob Mulholland, who's a Leeds United comic and does content creation, said, if anything, we should be lauding him. The fact that he's playing rubbish for Man United, but he's good for England. Like, that should be a good thing. And I just, as well, and I suppose I'm thinking about it deep, but I was thinking about, like, how the media for years have hammered the England team, rightly, in some cases, sometimes maybe not so, and actually put the cat amongst the pigeons prior to tournaments. And, you know, they've been universally disliked, some of the squads, and then we finally have like a squad that for me I'm proud of, and one that I enjoy watching. And, you know, I say that when I'd slept the night they were on, but I'm talking tournament football on that, you know what I mean? And I like the individuals within the squad. I like Gareth, whatever you say about him as a manager, but I just think the way my manager speaks, it's just really good. And then we as fans are then trying to pull it down. Do you know what I mean? And I just think it's it's a needless thing to happen, because whatever you think about Harry Maguire, and we've mocked him many a time on this show, but for England, he's been class. Like, he was in the team of the tournament, man. That's not an easy thing to do. He's always been counted upon. I don't know if it's because it's a Man United player, and I'm not standing with them, that I'm feeling so like in support of him kind of thing. But it did seem weird, because it wasn't even that he'd done up bad. It was just like, and at centre back, Harry Maguire, and then loads of boos.
Yeah,
I was like, that can't be good for his confidence. And then the fact that all the players are coming out, and Gareth Southgate, I think, said something along the lines of, I've been in England squads where players haven't wanted to play before because of the pressure and all that sort of stuff. And it's like the media are all getting, now we're trying to mess it up. Because I genuinely feel, okay, it's going to be difficult because you look at Brazil, etc. But I genuinely feel there's a chance we could win a World Cup. And I don't want to derail that before we even get there because of Man United's centre-back. Like, what? You know what I mean? Long may it continue. Long may it continue in putting stinkers in at Old Trafford as captain of that club, and then turning out and scoring bullet headers and man of the match performances for England.
But that's the truth, though. He hasn't put a foot wrong for England really for a couple of years now. Like, I'd love to be able to sit here and say, you know, it's valid. I don't think it's valid booing someone before they've played when ultimately they've been picked. It's not Harry Maguire's fault that Southgate's picking him. But Southgate, I think, has changed my opinion on players playing international football, because I think leading up to these tournaments, you've seen the likes of Sterling, when he's not had a good season start, been brilliant for England. Pickford, exactly the same as brilliant the other night. It changes your opinion. And Maguire really hasn't put a foot wrong. I think he's been superb for England. Whether it's because of the system and it's the back three, or whether it's because ultimately he just turns up or his concentration levels are there. But I just thought it was harsh. I just thought it was really harsh. And I think people have blurred this line between saying, oh, we can't criticise a player now because he's out of form versus booing him. I think they're two different things. You can criticise Harry Maguire, quite rightly so. Yeah. He's been horrendous. Some of the defending from him has been awful, but booing a player before he's even kicked the ball in the game, it's not at half time or full time. I don't agree with it, to be honest. It doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I'll never forget as well being at Preston away in the Championship, and Bamford, you know, truth be told, he couldn't hit a barn door for a period of time. And now warm up against Preston, he scored in the warm-up, and he was getting, like, mocked. Way. That night he scored 2 goals. Do you know what I mean? And was it like this, Oscar? It was like this, wasn't it? Or like that? I can't remember. And I did get annoyed in the post-match, because I was like, how dare you do that to me, because I've never done that to you, kind of thing. I took it personal, but I understood it as well, because it's like, why are you doing that to your player before he's even kicked a ball? Like, bit of a mad one. But I agree. I don't know if you agree, Oscar, like with what Corey says. I think there is a conversation to be had, and I understand those that stand on the line of, well, I thought Southgate, and every manager does this, you know, I thought Southgate would only pick you if you're good for a club. And we know Maguire's not been good. However, you can't go into a World Cup with players that have had 4 or 5 caps, that don't have that experience of losing.
Who was that an impression of, by the way?
I don't know, actually.
Just a random
Dave from Dockland. Yeah, it was just a random, like, but like, do you know what I mean? Though you can't go into them players, right? Think about it. What was it? Semi-final, whatever, lost. The experience gained from that can never be like, you know, it. I was going to say understated, but I've been getting hammered because I keep getting that wrong. Is it understated or overstated? I don't know.
Understated.
You need to get that right. I swear to God, I must have been using it in the wrong context. And someone like sent this long thing. I was like, oh shit. Yeah, but it can't be though, right? Because the experience gained from losing in the final to Italy and all that sort of stuff, penalty shootouts, it cannot be understated. Can it, Oscar?
No. And the thing to add as well is that people forget that international football, the managers only get a week at a time to work with the players. So you probably do want to keep it as similar as possible. You know, as Corey was saying about Maguire, Sterling, Pickford, as much as I think Ramsdale, Ben White might be long-term upgrades on certainly Ramsdale, an upgrade on Pickford for me. you can still see why Southgate wants to work with the same group of players, wants to keep that main 11 the same, because he knows they all know the system, they all understand what they need to do. He knows Sterling and Kane have got really good chemistry. Foden and Kane have got really good chemistry. All these different bits and pieces, and people have even criticised Phillips and Rice starting together, but you saw in the tournament why that was important to do that for the team and that lot. And that's what I'd say about Maguire as well, just to talk about his performances, is that at Man United, I don't think any centre-back would do well at Man United at the minute, because they literally play with one holding midfielder protecting Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, Ronaldo, Rashford, who just don't run. They just don't run. They don't work hard at all. They're not being particularly good with the ball, and off the ball, they're absolutely hopeless. If we're being totally honest, they can't run. So you have to cover about 5 or 6 different players at Man United. That's one thing I would mention. Not that I'm saying he's a good centre-back, Harry Maguire, but the thing with Harry Maguire is he's never been an £80 million centre-back, and he isn't an £80 million centre-back, and that's naturally what people sort of compare him against. But he's a good centre-back. There's no doubt about that. I'm not going to beat around the bush there. I think he is a good player. But he's not a Van Dijk, is he? Or a Diaz or anyone like that. He's nowhere near that level. And that's what people are kind of expecting. But for England, you've got to say, when he's playing them a better team, better system, alongside Stones or Ben White, or whoever it is at centre-back alongside him, is a better centre-back than what he's playing alongside at Man United, then he looks absolutely fine to me. So that's what you've got to go off, really. Is it the answer long-term? I don't know. But he's going to be in the squad. There's no doubt about that. He's a leader. That penalty he took in the final. I mean, what a penalty that was, by the way. Top corner, top bins. I think it was his second or third penalty, whatever it was. But I'm not going to pour too much praise on the Man United captain, but I do still think it was absolutely bang out of order to do that for any England player. Because at the end of the day, I think I saw something as well where people are saying, who do these England players think pays their money? And I'm thinking, do you know how international football works, mate? You do realise that England players have donated all their match fees for like the last 20 years to charity. People do realise that. I
think it's a rub. I hear the argument as well off your, but they paid loads. So they're still people.
Not by England and not. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. No, exactly. I know they're not on that respect. Yeah, I hear you. But do you know what I mean?
Well, booing someone and criticising them and breaking down as to why they've been poor are two different things. Do you see what I mean? Like the action of being in the crowd booing someone, even supporting West Ham, I've never felt the need to do it, even though some of the players have been absolutely shocking, because it just doesn't sit right with me. So if these people are saying, well, I'll pay my money, why can't I boo when I want to boo? I'm like, you can do what you want. That's freedom of speech. But the reality is, we just don't agree with it, and it just doesn't sit right with the atmosphere. So that's kind of why people fall on that side of things. But like Oscar said, the Maguire thing, I don't agree with, and especially when someone has put in good service over a couple of years, he deserves a little bit of leeway.
Jack, thoughts?
Yeah, this England squad, they are special, aren't they? The semi-final, a final, they are special. I remember leaving the pub after the Germany game and just like hugging people in the streets for the first time in years. Like, do you know what? This is great. This is wicked. And there's a different atmosphere there. You look how Luke Shaw's played in, like, it's just in the front. Luke Shaw's wicked for England. He looks like he's a different player, smashing in like that 30-yard goal. It doesn't do that for United. So it's not just him that changes when they go to England.
Pickford as well. Pickford.
Yeah. Pickford's a big game player who literally never gets big games at his club. He loves it at England. He's like, this is where I thrive. Like, there are loads of players in that squad that are like that. Yeah. And it's like, I feel after like all the good emotions they've given us over the past few years, it's like I felt very protective when they started booing. I was like, hold on, you're right, he is awful, but calm down. Like, not in this ground, he's not. Like when there's arches over him, he's pretty wicked. He's yet to let me down there. And every moment I think, even when I watch him play for England, I'm like, he's still Harry Maguire. I know what's going to happen, and he never does it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like absolute magic. When you see him play for United, he's just always around, his own box. When he's playing for England, he's almost like a number 6. He's up at the halfway line, living the dream, just playing prime. But I do love just how quickly Gareth came out straight after the game. Was like, it's disgusting. What are you doing? Like, I think the fact that people would give Gareth a lot of grief as well. Like this, I think going back to Phillips, it's going to take a long time for him to leave the team because Gareth knows what team he likes. And it takes him a long time to adjust to people. Look how long we waited for Grealish to come into the team.
True,
That thing could take for years, and now he's in it. He's doing stuff, and I feel Bellingham's going to be the same. But I think Gareth looks after the players, and I think that gives them more energy than anything. Because you sometimes see, especially with Harry recently, you don't really know if he's being thrown under the bus or what the clicks are like in that Man United changing room. I feel like coming to England must be such a goddamn relief for him. He must get there and be 100%. Like, oh, people like me here, and no one's after me, and he performs that way. And then to hear the boos, just like this is just time and a place.
I think as well. Do you know what as well? You said everything there, mate. Thank you. Their achievements, and I can see it in the comments as well, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, so that's totally fine. But their achievements are being discredited as well due to the teams that they're playing, and that's not fair either. I'd hate that, me. Yeah, but you should beat all them. But that's not how football works. It's not like that. Oh, well, yeah, but every time we came up against someone, we get beat. Like, no, like we've lost, 2 or 3 games in ages. Like, I get it. I understand, but I just think to totally discredit them and say, "All right, well," do you know what I mean? It's mad because like Izzy put in the comments, and I don't know where Izzy's from. My apologies, Izzy, but he did put in the comments earlier on. I've missed it, but he said like it's in England's DNA as fans to be toxic. I'm sorry, but it's true. And you know what? I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. Izzy, like I can't lie.
There's always got to be a scapegoat. Always got to be a scapegoat.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Do you know what? And that's probably partly due to media as well. Like it's past, do you know what I mean? And we can jump on it. I mean, let's not forget, like they were hanging effigies of David Beckham. Like that's not okay. Like hanging him in the street, like this is madness, right?
Yeah, that could put booing before a game compared to that is a little bit soft, but we are in a different time and place for it right now.
Yeah,
and it's one of those things where there's a time that, like, even when I've been going back to games this season, it hasn't been a lot rowdier after games. I feel people that just aren't used to being back and around people, and some people just have forgotten how to act a little bit.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of I don't want to be the old man saying these young fans, but there's a lot of young lads that have just have turned 18, 19 during lockdown that haven't been out socializing, and this is their first time. And
Jack, society, man. It's society, the government. It's everything. Honestly, it was the same when, Thatcher and that was it. Like, I hate to go like political and that, but like, the point is, like, a lot of the time, society Gary
Neville over there, but he's linked it to politics.
No, my point is, though, society reflects, like, us as a lot of men, working class, all that sort, they have no release. So it can easily be mirrored onto that. Like, you're right, Jack. You've seen a lot of stuff that I didn't even think was still around in 2020. Do you know what I mean? 2022. Even like the amount of, throwing coins and all sorts of stuff. And we can all have a joke about it and that. But it is, for me, it's a reflection of society as well. I do believe that. Anyway, that's enough for, you can tell, I've been going to university.
I don't feel qualified enough to talk about any.
I probably don't. Someone's probably watching this going, what are you on about? But I get what I'm saying. I do, yeah. Sorry, Ian. Sorry. I know you want us to talk about Darlington. I see it all the time, brother. We're going to do it now. I'm only joking. Ian, thank you so much for your support. I actually live in Sunderland, which isn't too far to Darlington, from Darlington. So, yeah, big shout out, mate. And we will move it on. My apologies. I am going to ask one more question, though, before we go. Would Maguire make your World Cup team, Corey?
Yes.
Oscar?
Starting 11 or squad?
Starting 11.
At the minute, no.
No, really. What about you, Jack?
Ben White Stones for me.
Go on then, right. All right, okay.
Yeah, mate. I start him. Stonewalled. You should carry on. Carry on from before.
Yeah. Who would you start over him, Oscar?
Ben White, John Stones. I go for.
Again,
it could change. It's a long time till the tournament, but right now on form, I don't know. It's a hard one. I'm not. At the end of the day, if it's Maguire and Stones, it's still very good. It's still proving. So, whatever we go with there, I don't think it's going to let. If we don't win the tournament, it's not going to be down to that.
Yeah,
the story, if it's Maguire, the story's better. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
You're not another one that loves a story.
That's down to opinion, though. I'd rather Ben White won the World Cup. To be fair,
true. Yeah, Man United.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love all of them to win the World Cup. I don't care who's in their squad, as long as they win it. But
I think it'd be almost sweeter, Oscar, because Man United fans don't want him. And if he won, it's the World Cup, and they're going, hey, shit, well, yes, Maguire!
The thing is, as well, he might not even be a Man United player by the time the World Cup
that'd be even funnier. That'd be even funnier. Even better story.
It would be, to be fair. Actually, you know what? I'm going to completely U-turn this. All of a sudden. Well, it could, you know what I mean? If Man United get Ten Hag in, totally change all their recruitment, he could be gone. We could genuinely get rid of him. Don't know, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think it'd be best for both parties, probably. Probably. Anyway, let's move it on slightly. Thank you for those that are not English in the chat or for any sort of any care for international football whatsoever, but I just wanted to have a chat.
Basically, anyone who supports someone who hasn't qualified for the World Cup is what you're referring to.
Basically, yeah. Brilliant.
Draw's tomorrow, isn't it? Draw for the World Cup group, is it? Tomorrow, I think?
Friday. Yeah, tomorrow,
Yeah,
Friday,
tomorrow.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to the world. Do you know what? It's going to be wall-to-wall football. Like, we're going to have a break from Premier League and then have a
Christmas as well.
And then Premier League back.
Wow. Can't wait, mate. Can't wait.
Do you know what? Like, that is going to be mint. Like, honestly, that'll be mint. And if England could do well in it as well, that could end up being, lads. I'm sorry, them fans of non-England are fuming again, but it's like that could genuinely be like the Christmas to remember, ever. Do you know what I mean?
That festive version of It's Coming Home is going to be amazing.
You will, man. Sleigh bells and that. You're right, man. That definitely will go to number one. You'll have looking back on when I love that one, me. Southgate, you're the one. I love it. With a bit of sleigh bells, because that's all you need to do. Put sleigh bells on a song and it constitutes as a Christmas.
I've really missed the trend of boy bands re-releasing singles but just putting commentary in it. It's the same song, but they just had a bit of World Cup commentary in it. It's single.
I wonder why other countries don't like us at the World Cup.
It's brilliant. Time to move on, boys, says Izzy. We will do just that. We're now going to talk about Premier League football because, as I say, it's been ages since we've got it. And what an opportunity we have as Leeds United fans this weekend. Just because I believe, and this is no disrespect to you, Jack, obviously, Southampton fan, I think we have arguably the best fixture. With it being at home, it's against Southampton. I look around the rest of the table. Watford are away at Liverpool. Burnley are at home to City. Chelsea, Brentford. West Ham, Everton. Tottenham, Newcastle. Norwich, Brighton. I mean, Norwich are done for me anyway. But, the rest have some really, really tough fixtures. And Leeds have got home tied to Southampton. So, I'm quite confident as well, Oscar. I've not done my preview yet. I'll be doing it in the morning. Sorry, guys, I've been mega busy, so I've not managed to do it today. But before we speak to Jack and get the lowdown on Southampton, Oscar, I'm quite confident going into it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I've just filmed my preview myself just before coming on, and to be honest with you, I look at it and I was looking at potential starting 11. There's options now.
Yeah.
Even if Calvin, listening to what Jesse was kind of saying in the. He kind of didn't commit either way in terms of Calvin. He kind of said he could start, but he's not fully match fit. So he might start, play an hour, come off, or he might come on after an hour. Whichever way around it is, it's better than what we have had depth-wise. So that's a massive positive. Obviously, Coops is back in. It looks like most of the players who got injured at Wolves are all back as well. So you look at it, all of a sudden you say, that bench looks good. Joffrey as well wasn't fully fit at Wolves, so he's an option. Sam Greenwood came on, did well. So all of a sudden you're looking at it and thinking, yeah, you know what, there's some nice options here. But I don't want to get too carried away because, look, the Premier League is of high quality. Last time we played Southampton at St Mary's in October, that was an onslaught. It was a 1-0 battering, to be honest. I don't know how we got away with 1-0, to be honest. I think Mellier's produced some unbelievable saves in that game, and It was a really, really tough one for us. And I don't know if Jack would agree. That's probably the best I've seen. Jack will know much more than me on this, but that's one of the best performances I've seen from Southampton all season. So I don't know. It's an interesting one, but I think there's goals in this game. I think both teams are going to just try and out-press each other, if that's a word. But you know what it's going to be from both teams. Both teams are going to be looking to press. Rodrigo's hit a really, really good run of form for us. I think that's probably the one you always look when there's a new manager in. There's always one or two players who really step up in performance. Really, really like the new system, and I think Rodrigo's one of those players. I think Robin Koch potentially is as well. To be fair, looks really good at Wolves. So yeah, there's options. And to be honest with you, mate, I don't have a clue what starting 11 we'll go with. In terms of, I'd imagine it'll be Pascal at centre back, but alongside him, there's loads of options. Llorente might come straight back in. Robin Koch might slot in there. Charlie Creswell, what a game he had, second half at Wolves. Yeah, true. Coops is there as well. So it's good to have a lot of options. But yeah, look, we've still got a massive task ahead of us in this game and the next 8 games, really, because I don't know what it is now, but we probably need 2 or 3 wins out of 8. That's going to be tough, 2 wins out of 8 in the Premier League.
I think we get them in the next 2. I do. I'm confident.
It's a massive boost. Yeah. It's a massive boost. There's no doubt about that. But I'm not going to take anything for granted at this level.
Of course not.
I think everyone will. Even you look at places like Palace away or Brentford away, they are very, very difficult games. So it's going to be, can't take anything for granted. But yeah, I think 2 or 3 wins really does put the pressure on the other teams then because they've got to put a monster run together. Everton, Burnley would have to put a monster run together then to drag us back into it.
Yeah, 100%. I just want to jump on this from Russ as well. I'm not in any way being ignorant. Like I do believe Southampton are a very, very good side. Let me just say that. Like it wasn't too many weeks ago that we're knocking on the door of Europe, but this is a Southampton thing, you see. And Jack can tell us a little bit more about that because Ralph goes on winning runs and then he goes on losing runs. I remember a losing run that stretched back to about 11 games last season, maybe.
Shush.
Yeah. And I just seen this fixture coming up, and I know you're not in the best run of form. I might be way off the mark. So as I say, I've not done much homework for this today. But I'm hoping that Southampton are in one of them little losing runs, and therefore Leeds are at home. We're on the back of 2 decent fixtures, and that's why, Russ, I'm like, I think we win this one. I do. I just have that feeling, and then we can go into Watford and be like, right, let's do this and let's get safe. But Jack, thoughts on Southampton in this game at the weekend? Are you going, mate?
Normally not now. I'll be at work for this one, but that's fine by me because I'm nervous about this game. I'll be honest. Like it's four losses in all competitions before the international break. A lot of goals conceded as well. 4 against City, 4 against Aston Villa, 2 terrible losses to Newcastle and Watford, and that's the thing that's really hitting in your favour. Like I look at, we are not performing against the teams that are struggling, that scrapping, apart from Everton, but then everyone's beating Everton, so that's fine. It's just, when you come at Southampton with heart and with pressure, it's been a bit of a struggle for us the past few weeks. But it was so good before then. Like leading up to the Aston Villa game, we were on a real run. I think no losses in. I think it was about 8 games, 9 games. It was a real run of form from us. It was really silky football. Not to brag, I've seen 5 backhill passes in St Mary's this season, and that is unreal. Right? That is just outrageous. We don't see that kind of stuff at the South Coast. I mean, it's just naughtiness, and it was honestly, guys, it was such silky smooth. Like you look back at it, like the Salasu, this has been his first proper season with us this year, and he's been so good. As far as the centre back goes, mate, boys, we've missed Virgil since he's gone. It's a bit of a hole to leave, and to have a centre back that's just powerful, doing business, scoring goals, he's everything. And then, he's been good, and even in the performances where we've done poorly, it's never like everyone here's had a bad game. It's you've just not done enough. It's no one's been a stinker. It's just like you could have done better. You could have progressed the ball a bit more. But that's why I'm excited about this game, because it's going to be, like you say, press versus press, goals. It's just it's the battle of the Leipzigs. It's going to be it's going to be a party. That's the thing I'm more excited about is. It's going to come down to these 2 managers. Let's see who's going to, who's got their team up for it before this game.
Yeah.
And that's why it's you guys. I'm feeling like you guys right now. And you know, you got the injuries coming back. No Bamford though. Bamford is the one that really kills us. Yeah. The first game we were
you just hate him as well, don't you? I remember. Jackie.
First game back in the stadium was against you guys. Sat right behind the goal. Literally, we were the only people. We were like the closest to the goal, and he just came straight up to us after he celebrated, dead in our faces, and was just mugging us off. And it's just like,
oh. Do you know what it is as well, Jack? It's like we have a thing. I don't know if I reminded. Maybe I let you know at the time. I can't remember. You know the square ball, like they do the propaganda, and they had your vlog on, I think, afterwards, and you were on about Bamford at the time, proper booting off at him. So, hadn't he spent some time on the deck as well, and then managed to get up?
Oh yeah, he was like, do you know what? He was on the floor for so long. Mike, who I did the show with, was so concerned. He was like, I really think Bamford's down. I was like, nah, no, he's not. His stupid little face on the floor. I know what he's up to. Turns out I was right. But no, if you watch the vlog, we were Mike was very concerned. But then in the posts, I was upset. I was upset.
Yeah, I remember it well.
He was he was the most. And then end of last season, Richarlison retweeted us like him scoring against us and me being very upset. I think that's mugged me off more because then we had all of Brazil laughing at us. So I'd rather just Bamford mug me off than all of Brazil. So Bamford's gone down on my list. So, but you know, he's not here. But he when I was seeing the returns coming back, I was like, please don't say Bamford because he just he ties those games off. You know, he did a double against us last season, and because you leadsed us twice. We should have seen it coming, but you leadsed us twice. You just came out, pressed, got on us, and won. And I do feel like all those players being out really helped us in October. I mean, we did Pepe. You're right. It was insane how good we were that day. But it was still only 1-0. Do you know what I mean? If those players were on the pitch, if you just had a bit more something up top and you could have snuck something away, maybe. You did hold it off. So it's just this is kind of the worst game for us to come back from an international break from. We've had a break. We don't know we've lost 4 games. We don't know what this game's going to be like. Yeah, and it's against Leeds, who in reality 2 more games and you're pretty much safe.
Yeah.
Not where we want to be, considering Newcastle and Watford were in that 4 games.
Yeah, it's going to be bouncing as well after the international break to late wins. Like I think, I do honestly. I just see a Leeds United win. No, like thingy behind it, just like, I've got tunnel vision. I'll be very surprised if we don't win the game. Honestly, sounds overly confident, doesn't it? But that's just how my head is right now.
I'll say that, but sounds worryingly confident.
No, just when you just get them feelings, I'm like,
just keep talking. Exactly. That's my whole thing. I'm just coming on here so you're really egotistical and fate plays you that bad hand. Like, you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have had hope. Idiot. And then that's the tactic nowadays.
Exactly.
Vibes.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it, how as well as a content creator you actually get blamed for the bad results when you see you win.
It's not told you. This is Mike's channel and I help. Never my fault.
Brilliant. Corey, thoughts, mate, on this one?
It's an interesting one because I feel like that snippet, that 45 against Wolves, I don't know. Like, it had such shades of Bielsa, and obviously the red card did change things, but it did look like it galvanised those players. I think I got told off the other day for saying galvanised as well, so that geezer's probably going nuts. But
why, man? That's a good word. I like
it's a good word. It's a good word. I thought I'd bring it back up. No, seriously, I think it'll be really interesting to see you. I think Ellen Road, the atmosphere will be different off the back of that. I think that's a massive thing as well. Key players coming back, just in terms of the balance. Did you say Calvin might be ready for a start? Yeah. That's a huge thing. I think what Jesse Marsh wants to do, and you've seen he's tried to implement that more balanced style of play. So maybe you'll see it. But I wouldn't write Southampton off. They've got some fantastic players, and I know it kind of gets brushed under the carpet. But Livramento, Carl Walker-Peters, Broja when he plays, Broja gives me nightmares every time.
Philip Lamb.
Yeah, not him. But even so, they do have players more proud. So they will be a threat. I don't think I can see a 1-1. I can see an entertaining 1-1, but I think for me, I want to see what Leeds look like now after an international break and how Marsh has started to implement those ideas a little bit more. So time will tell, mate. I'm sure it's harder for you and Oscar, but for me, looking at a Bielsa team to a Marsh team, I'm like, what's he going to do now type thing. So it is interesting.
It's been horrible for me, man.
I can't lie. You should have brought it up. It upset you.
I still bring up Bielsa all the time, and people keep hammering me in the comments for that as well. I get.
Listen, mate, I'm still in my rehire Nigel Atkins Facebook group. Like that's still going around.
Oh.
It's a really
committed. To let it go.
It's a really committed group. They're really on it. I'm there more just to see if they can do it. At this point, they bring the club down first. It's going to be when he returns. Those 3 guys are going to be mental.
How many are in the group? 3.
I think last time I checked, there's about 350. I'm like, you guys. I'm like, I hope they're all there like me. Like, who are you nutters? Why are you still here?
I love that, man. I tell you a funny thing, actually, just on that Bielsa thing. I don't know if it's funny. It's an anecdote. I was at the gym on Monday. I was in a spinning class, and I was just on the warm up, and this woman goes behind me. Excuse me, I said, yeah. She went, is that Bielsa on your calf? And I was like, oh yeah, it is. Yeah. She went, oh, my friend's a huge Leeds fan. Like he got really upset and that went. I went, I get it. Like I did as well. Like don't worry. And she went, can I take a picture? She took a picture of my leg, and then like after the class, she was like, oh, he says it's a legend and that. I said to her, it's good job, like you asked. Because I'd have to turn around and you were just taking a picture of me from behind. Like, there'd have been some conversation. Like, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was mad. Like, I just got it. Like I said, don't worry, take a picture because I get it. You know what I mean? This is Bielsa had that effect, man. Yeah, it's just nice. Yeah. Anyway,
it's not one of your better anecdotes, to be fair, mate. I've got to say that.
Sorry. Okay, I won't tell you about the chat I had in the sauna with the Newcastle fan. Then we'll leave that one.
That one sounds way more interesting. That's someone of a Newcastle fan.
Well, it was genuinely about my tattoo, and then we got speaking, and and he was just saying about Newcastle, and yeah, he actually was saying that he doesn't expect St. Maximin to be there. He says it's not for me. And I was genuinely, as he's saying this, I'm going, can't wait to tell the lads this. I told them about St. Maximin.
I can just imagine him jumping up in the sauna. I tell you what, you're going to tell them.
It's so true as well. Yes, I was right. I go like that as well. And I told him Italy would win the Euros. Anyway, let's move it on back to this weekend. And Corey, please tell us that you are going to do us a favour and further condemn Frank Lampard's Everton to relegation. First of all, talk to me about the game, and then I want to hear your opinion on Frank and his tactic of absolutely hammering each of his players in every single interview that he does, thinking that will get a rise out of them.
Yeah, very interesting. Look, for me, these next 3 games, I think we've got Everton, Brentford and Burnley are all must-win, really, if we're looking for European football next season. We've got some really tough fixtures as well after that. I think we've got Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal are in there, so it's not easy. It is a must-win game. I think the biggest thing from me looking at Everton, and I think this is just a bit of a hallmark of Frank Lampard's tactics, is the fact they're naive and the way he tries to play with the high line and the way that he tries to press. If he does that against West Ham, we're going to have so many opportunities in beyond. You bring Mikel Antonio, who's fresh off 2 weeks. Again, he'll be buzzing. He'll be looking at that high line. If we can get Jared Bowen back even for 20 minutes, we can exploit that. So I think tactically, there is a lot that West Ham can do, and it may benefit us. On the point of him digging out his own players, I'm not surprised. It strikes me as a man that's throwing his toys out the pram a little bit when it hasn't gone his own way. And that's why I almost gave him a bit of credit for going into Everton, because I kind of felt like it was a poison chalice. It's a squad that, for me, looks toxic. He hasn't got the right players. He hasn't got the funds to bring in who he wants. But at the same time, when he throws them under the bus, I'm like, that's the Fat Frank that we all know and hate. And he did what I thought he would do. And you can't afford to do that, really, in the situation that they're in. They may get out of it because of how poor the teams below them are. Having said that, I think if you're an Everton fan and you're looking long-term, you're seeing all the naivety in terms of the style of play. You've already got the squad there. That kind of approach to a team that, let's be honest, has been underperforming really for years, given the money that's been spent, it's just a strange thing to do. And I think Frank, to be honest, even if he stays up this season, give it a couple of months next season, I think I could see him being gone. And I think Frank Lampard would throw in the towel. It doesn't strike me as someone that particularly in that situation when you're saying, "Oh, it's the players' fault; they're just not doing what I'm telling them to do."
Yeah,
he would just get up and leave. Like he really would.
Yeah.
And do you know what the worst thing is? His reputation would be intact. I've seen him touted when they're talking about next England manager. I just cannot get it out of my head. Like I really, really cannot. It's
this
mad.
is what I'm saying, right? Imagine this, Corey. Yeah, everyone's hammering Southgate, and he's like, imagine a world where Frank Lampard's the manager. Like that's just nah. I'm not about that life.
Yeah.
Or Mason Mount's captain straight away before he's even done. Mason Mount captain.
It'd be on pens, free kicks, throw-ins, the lot.
I'm not being funny, but you actually look at. I know he got Chelsea and they were in the top 4, and I guess maybe that's a sort of relative success given they had a transfer ban. But I don't look at a Frank Lampard team and think, I'll tell you what, it could cause a few issues. And obviously the comparison, Steven Gerrard, equal amount of times in terms of retirement and coaching. And I look at Villa already and think, I know what their style of players, I know what they're trying to do. The players know what they want to achieve. It's just interesting, the comparison between two top players and the way that they use their ego really on the team. One, I think they respect him, and the other, they look at Lampard. It'll get to a point where they go, actually, I don't think you know what you're doing. And Everton, it's poor for them because they're just an underperforming football club at the minute. They should be nowhere near 17th, nowhere near, or 16th, or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, it's a mad situation. And again, just put it out there, like I don't dislike Everton. I really dislike Frank. So therefore, like, is what it is. If he goes down and then, I mean, I'll still have to put up with him probably in either Sky or BT studio, but at least he won't be on the side of a footy pitch, because we know that'll happen. He'll definitely get just straight sidestep into Sky or BT. Super chat came in from Andy White Peacock. Andy, great supporter of the channel since day dot, so thank you for that, mate. He says congrats on your 10k, well deserved top show, by the way. Yeah, it's been really good on it. I've really enjoyed it, but do say so myself. Yo says loving the Saints guy, Jack at Matchday Vlogs. Great,
good, they got the money.
He is. That's why we always have him back, you see. He's a funny dude, and you can go see more of Jack over on the Matchday Vlogs channel in the description. And along with that, because I forgot to do it, I have changed it. You can actually go check out Corey's channel. Okay, it's no longer the West Ham way. It's now a standalone channel for Corey, right? And I know, look, there's 270 people here, and I'm not. You always say, well, if all of you subscribe, I don't want to like Corey thinking all 270 have gone over and subscribed, and when he comes off and then he's like, oh, no one went over, out of order,
yeah. No, honestly, mate, like honestly, if you want to go there, like it's absolutely fine. If you don't, you don't. Like, to be honest, I do appreciate. I did say this on when I sort of changed over the channel, but the comments I used to get on the other videos, even from Leeds fans when it was West Ham and keeping an eye out, I do read them all, and obviously it would be interesting. But can I just have 1 minute just to talk about West Ham beating Sevilla in the Europa League?
Yeah, sorry, bro.
I didn't get the chance, and it's been burning. Honestly, it was unbelievable. I know that the fact that the odds were stacked against us and the atmosphere was incredible. And listen, Leeds fans would have been to London Stadium, and it's been quite well documented. It is tough. We don't particularly like the ground, but in terms of atmospheres, that's probably the best I've witnessed. And the fans really understood the occasion, which was really, really important. We sold it out, and I think credit to David Moyes and the players. Obviously, it went over to extra time, but the game plan was spot on. Out of possession, we were exceptional. We actually tried to press Sevilla, and we know some of the players and the quality of the players that they have in possession. And to do that, and for Yarmolenko ultimately to get the winner and it be down my end and to see it, it was incredible. And the fact that West Ham, given 2 years ago, we were fighting relegation. Now all of a sudden we're in a quarterfinal of the Europa League with possibly Barcelona in the semi-final is crazy. So yeah, it was an unbelievable occasion, and we've had a few this season, but granted, not to that stature. So it wasn't like we fluked it. It wasn't, we nicked it, and I would have taken that all day long. We actually earned it over the 2 legs. So yeah, I was buzzing. And now I've got that out, we can continue and talk about everyone else's teams.
No, I get it, mate. Amazing, right? So yeah, listen, I hope you do it, bro. Like, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Lyon's an interesting one because I think historically they've got obviously European experience. They've still got great players. I know they've got Ndombele and Awar and the players that we've got to contend with.
Man, that Ndombele, anyway.
Yeah, but no, I'll have to turn up and all the Tottenham fans will have something to celebrate about. So, but at the same time, they're 10th in their league. It's still a real chance. And I think we're at a bit of a tipping point in the season where do we just go full throttle for it and just for that chance? Because once you're in the semi-final, and I appreciate it's knockout football, but when you're in that semi-final, anything can happen. You just don't know. And it would be virtually impossible to go to the new camp and nick something if it was in the second leg. But that's what we're in it for, man. And I think we've got the hard route. If we do get to the final, we may have an easier team, in inverted commas, to beat. But yeah, I'm just really proud of the team, to be honest. They stepped up. They don't have any right, really, in terms of experience to be there. But the fact that we're dealing with someone like Sevilla who have won it 6 times and they've got a fantastic manager is real testament. So, yeah, I'm buzzing, mate. I've got my ticket for Leo on Thursday, so I'll let you know how we get on.
Yeah, brilliant, man. Class. Buzzing for you, mate. Russ says, great panel. Great panel. I'll do that again. Happy birthday, Russ, as well, by the way. I know it was your birthday the other day, just off the bat, I will say, because, again, Russ is a top guy. It says, great panel tonight, lads, Joe. Get them all and yourself a pint match on together. I don't drink, mate, but I will get myself a refreshment. When I see Oscar at the weekend, I'll do that. And as I say, if I ever go down south, and even further down south, I'll make sure I shot some money their way as well.
English Riviera. English Riviera.
What were you saying, Oscar?
We haven't discussed the end of season party, have we?
No, we haven't.
Oh,
no,
yeah. Work doing it.
We definitely need to do that. Yeah, look, there's a few people that have said they've subscribed. So if you haven't already, please do go over and check Corey's channel out. I'm sure me and Oscar's appearance will be in the post. Invite something along them lines.
Yeah, don't worry. I won't do a locks, by the way, and can it after about 3 videos. It will go further, I promise you.
Locks on the box, yeah. The greatest, the gift that we never really got. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we were robbed.
Really.
We won't discuss Chevy Esther TV at all. We won't discuss that at all.
What time, mate, as well. You've missed it there. You could have done some right watch-alongs and that. You've had some right results, haven't you, old Barcelona? Let's just, before we go back to some games, I want to speak about Spurs, actually. Because more specifically about Lloris, Romero and Benton.
Oh, God, not this one. My phone was going off at work. I was seeing Oscar and Matt back and forth.
No, to be honest, I did see this from my good friend who's normally on the show. He's not here tonight. Matt Hayes, he's working for Opta or something like that. He's a good guy. He knows his football. What he doesn't know though is how much better the Arsenal squad is than Spurs. And I thought we could just have that conversation about like he made a deal on Twitter of saying like Ramsdale over Lloris, White over Romero, Odegaard over Bentancur. What am I seeing?
No.
Like,
Kulusevski. That was the one.
That was too far.
That was too far. That was ridiculous.
Them three there on their own. I'm like, yeah, I don't see the argument, Matt. Like for me, they are. And then what was it? Kulusevski over who?
Saka.
Really?
No, that did me. The others we can have a good debate about, and we can the Kulusevski Saka one. I couldn't let that slide. I was like, Matt, come on. You're better than this. You're better than this. But the Tottenham fans lapped it up, probably. It's probably just a bit of a drive at Arsenal. Like that's unless it's being really serious, and we'll find out.
Ramsdale's better than Lloris now, right? You would take Ramsdale.
Yeah.
You would?
This season.
Yeah. Why?
I don't think Lloris has been that exceptional, but then I feel like I'm missing something because Matt says it so often. I feel like maybe I am genuinely, missing the moments where Lloris is sensational, and maybe all I do is remember the mistakes. But over Ramsdale this season, I don't think so.
No, definitely not. And I really like Odegaard, so there you go. I just got that in there if Matt's watching. I'm sure he will.
I have to ask Matt the question. If Tottenham's squad is better than Arsenal's, then why are Tottenham so far behind Arsenal in the table? Didn't get an answer on that. Mate.
You didn't, did you? No. That's I was loving it, actually, watching. I just kept dropping the bombs. Or trying to. It was fun. Lewis says, Joe, are you marsh out? And if so, why? No. I'll never, ever on this channel start any campaign where it'll be like, I'm so-and-so out. Like, no, we don't do that here. I won't be like, yeah, let's get banners and that and be like, so-and-so out. I'm not marsh out at all. It's just I'm still in that going over phase. So any way that I can dig out the board for getting rid of Bielsa, I'm doing it. Like, you know what I mean? But no, I'm not marsh out at all. No. That's not me. I'm not about that. I try to give people like Steve Evans and Darko Milanic time. Do you know what I mean? I'm not about to start going get Marsh out now. Do you know what I mean? Right. Okay. Let's talk because I know we've been on over an hour already. So look, Leeds United are not going to get relegated. We're going to win this weekend, and the rest of the relegated sides are going to get beaten. Right? That's how it's going to go. Hopefully. But just to finish up, guys. Maybe not for you. Not good for you, Jack. Good for me. Good for me.
It's just a blatant disrespect more than anything else. Fair play. Your show, whatever.
But talk to us, Jack, about the 5 subs rule that's been passed today.
Yeah, I saw that pop up today. Yeah. It's going to be a funny one. Ralph's for it. I hear is Jesse for it?
Yeah, he is. Jesse's for it as well. Yeah.
I think it's because the idea is that we play that high intensity pressure football and to be able to bring on that many changes late in the game and be able to keep playing that is good. I just don't know if the squad depth's there for those sort of things. Obviously it's going to be great for the top 6 clubs that've got the benches that are that ridiculously ripped, and I get why people are upset about it, but in my mind, if my manager says it's okay, I kind of have to agree with what he says. Yeah. I'm like, okay, if you think the 5 subs, it worked for us in the FA Cup. The game against West Ham in the FA Cup, be able to bring on that many changes, really, we kind of tied it off for that game. We did, it was kind of even first half, and then second half, be able to make all those changes. It was a game of who had the more squad depth that day. And we've just got to bring it on. So I get why people were upset about it, but at the same time, it's not the worst thing that's happened recently, is it? Out of all the changes to football, I can live with 5 substitutions.
Yeah.
I think
I guess out of all the changes, I don't agree with it. Like
I'm fine with it. I'm fine. Whatever. Here we go. Let's. It's just more of a point to prove, isn't it? Here's the thing, guys. You can go in with thinking about stats and what that other team's got to offer. I go in thinking about magic. All right, I'm thinking don't matter if they got 5 subs. Don't even matter. I've got Gineppo on the bench, and then I go home sad.
Yeah. But Corey, but this is a mad thing, right? We always talk about this, and it always been an advantage to the bigger sides. But it always turns out that your bigger sides and them managers, they never want to make changes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They complain about all these subs and then make one change a game or whatever.
No, it does kind of feel like they're proving a point when they do that. I feel like sometimes they could make the changes and they don't. I think you're talking about Klopp is probably one of them where he constantly complains about it and then never rotates his team. I have a problem with it because I think it changes the dynamic of games. I think you'll see it being a case of if you're chasing the lead and you have the quality to bring on 3 attacking players like a Manchester City, all of a sudden that pressure will become too much. And maybe I think generally for football fans, and you look at West Ham's squad, it's just not equipped. It's not equipped for 5 subs. We barely make 3. We've got 2 goalkeepers on the bench. It's not, so that summer now becomes a huge job, and it makes it very difficult. Conversely, you get games where you're 1-0 up. Oh, let's bring on 3 defenders, and we can afford to do that and still have options. So it changes it too much. I think it just weights it too much in the favour of the teams that can afford to bring in top quality players. And that's the thing for me. And as a club that's punching well above its weight, that is a concern. And you look at Newcastle around the corner with the amount of money they've got to spend. Yeah. Now they're looking at 5 subs to bring on. They haven't got to worry about keeping everybody happy. That's another dynamic. You can start playing players for a lot more time and keep them happy over a course of a season, which is a bit of a game changer. So yeah, no for me, mate. I was no way back when it came in or when people started discussing it. Still exactly the same.
Exactly. I wonder why it's changed. Do we know the particulars to why it's been pushed through? Because I thought it had been outvoted before.
Every league's doing it. That was the big thing. I mean, last season there's discussions around introducing it. Then I think, let's be honest, Pep and Klopp have wanted this for about 2.5 years, really, 3 years, probably prior to COVID, they were talking about stuff like this. But I'm kind of of the same opinion as Jack, really. If our manager's happy with it, I'm happy with it, kind of thing. If we're a high pressing team, let's go with this 5 subs. I do think I agree with Corey though that I think the bigger teams, the top 6, is going to suit better. Because you can change half your team, half your outfield, you can just change really quickly. I think teams like Burnley and that lot have got absolutely zero depth and don't want teams like Arsenal and Liverpool being able to bring on fresh legs with 20 minutes to go. They don't want that, but they're going to have to face that now. I think they are the teams that are really going to be unhappy about it. But for high pressing teams, the better sides, I think it will suit. I think obviously, look, it depends what we do in the summer. Assuming we stay up, if we do bring in more numbers, if we do bring through more of the under-23 lads, we've already seen Charlie Creswell, Sam Greenwood get promoted pretty quickly since Jesse Marsh has come in. So if we are looking to build a bigger squad numbers-wise, then yes, it probably would suit us, and that might be why Jesse Marsh was in favour. I remember when the discussion was first coming around and Bielsa was getting quizzed on it, and Bielsa wasn't keen on it, I don't think. So again, it might be me overreading things, but I'm imagining Jesse Marsh will want a bigger squad than Marcelo Bielsa. So
he's not going to get that, bro. Victor Otto's said as much.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I don't think I'm reading too much between the lines there, but yeah, I think it's something that could suit us. But certainly teams just getting promoted, or your Burnleys, your Norwiches, and Brentfords, I don't think they'll be massively pleased about it. But end of the day, I think if a team's starting to say, "Oh, we're doing crap because there's 5 subs now rather than 3," you can't be that great a team in the first place, if you know what I mean. I think Klopp said it, but he said it in a really, really shitty way, the way Klopp sort of went about saying it. But I could kind of see what he's kind of trying to say. But I don't know. There's much worse things going on in football than that. And if that's the worst thing that happens between now and the end of the season, I'll take it, to be fair. I'll take it over a Super League. I'll put it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't know. You accept one.
Wants it. Surely we've got to want it.
Or just because Jesse Marsh wants it. He's only been here 2 minutes. I don't give a shit.
Manager. We're talking about who is it benefit. If our manager's reckons
he's not going to be here forever. What if the next guy comes in and he goes, "I could do with less subs"?
We can change it to 3 subs then.
Do you know what I'm saying? Though we can't just go on the whim of the manager. I don't think. Like, I understand what you're saying.
If it's what suits us, why wouldn't you go with what? If our manager wants the 5 subs, then surely, as a club, we've got to say.
Because I'm like, Corey, we're not equipped for 5 subs. He might want them, but we ain't got that. And if Victor Otto's to be believed when he's telling us that the one thing we're going to keep from Bielsa is the 18-man squad with 4 or 5 youth players, then how are you going to? What are we going to be doing? Bringing up?
It might force a change that though. It might force a change in like the way they're going to have to think about the squad though.
Possibly.
It's going to make the Premier League that little bit more elite because you can bring on that bit more player. You can just add that little bit, and it might, it's going to be hard for a lot of teams, but it will there will be players that you would look to have gotten in, but they wouldn't have gotten the game time that they would have needed to, that would warrant the money. So I think there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be rethought about bringing players in and just how your squad's going to have to work from now on. And it might just force the hand of a couple, not in a bad way, but just force the hand of a couple of owners to okay, well, we need this. Yeah. We need the extra player.
But what I don't understand, what the point is that the manager's the one who makes the subs. It's the manager is sent to the, because I believe they had a vote on it. That's what I read somewhere. They had a vote on it. If Jesse Marsh said, "Yeah, actually, I think 5 subs would suit us," then I'd imagine we would have voted yes to the 5 subs. That was the only point I was making. I think.
Oh, right, okay. You're not saying that. Are you advocating that though?
That's what I look. I've not got a massively strong opinion on it.
Until right, the last 5 minutes. When we're beating City or we're beating Arsenal, and then they make 3 subs and then come on and just absolutely smash us, and then we'll be like, that's not fair.
What I'll say as well is that when they brought the 5 subs in immediately after COVID, about 8 games of 2 seasons ago, and the last 8 games they had 5 subs going, it did slow the games down a lot. the momentum was lost quite a lot because you're constantly making substitutions.
Can you imagine Wolves?
Oh,
they've been making them every minute. I swear.
they get to 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go in a game. They wouldn't have made any subs. Sub every minute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sub every minute.
Southampton would make them between 60 and 70 minutes because we're smart.
It's true though, right? People, yeah, I don't
You'll
know.
have to adapt. There'll be. I think Jack said it. There'll be a sticking period of. Ultimately, you'll have to adapt. There's no point in sitting here and I don't agree with it. And I think because the big six and the way it will work. But the truth is, there'll be a sticking point of clubs going, hang on a minute, my squad's not big enough. There's not enough quality. There's not enough strength in depth here. And, unfortunately, for maybe West Ham, where our owners don't want to fork out for certain players, it becomes a problem because then all of a sudden you're looking at your under-23s going, well, you're going to have to come on, mate, because if we're trying to compete against teams that are bringing on 5 subs at that level and the intensity of the level that it could be, then we're going to have to rely on them. But ultimately,
saying you've got to make the 5 subs. You can make 3 if you want, or 4. It's not necessarily like a linear thing. If you bring on 5 subs, it automatically makes you better. The team's got to gel again. Say if you're changing your whole front 3 with 1 sub, it might not gel straight away. So you've not got to make the subs. I don't think every team will.
Oh, bro, mate. If you're bringing on, I don't know, Mahrez, Jesus.
Yeah, but not every team's City. That's the point.
But this is what I'm saying, though. So what's it doing? It's making that gap at the top bigger because
it's growing all the time.
Like society, the rich want to stay rich. They want to keep the power that they have, and that's why them at the top push for these changes so that they don't be challenged by the less than. That's why the powers that be didn't want Newcastle in, because they don't want to be challenged. And this is the same, man. We just don't see it because we only see it as, there's only 5 subs, and then before you know it, we're all getting relegated.
But even if the point stands that you don't make all 5 subs, the fact that you can sit there and go, I will make 3 at once is a novelty that, to be honest, most managers only really do in games like knockout football. You see you throw on 3 and you're chasing it. Whereas if you can do that every week and you've got quality to do it, then I just think it changes the dynamic of the game, unfortunately. But
was it the Euros where they had the 5 subs, but they had to bring them on at a certain time? Like, was it?
That does ring a bell. That did happen.
3 goes. You can only do it in 3 goes. You couldn't do 1 at once.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like maybe something like that might come into another play. I could see like that happening, so it does stop this. But you're right. Like, how many times do we see club cup competitions where you make that many subs and it ruins their game because it's just not right. But they're not fresh. They're not come at the right time. They're not ready for that moment of the game. So, and also if you make those 3 substitutions, that's the time where you're gonna be attacking those teams. You're like, right, we've probably got 5 minutes here before they're fully on this. So it's gonna be tight. But
I just make another argument for it as well, Joe. Just in terms of a Leeds United point of view. What a great opportunity to give some of the under-23s players minutes from time to time. If you're saying, when it was 3 subs, you kind of say, we've got to be careful about this. When maybe we thought about bringing on Sam Greenwood and we thought, we can't really do that on 3 subs because if he gets injured, he's, I don't know, say Adam Forshaw, Adam Forshaw's quite injury prone. We've got 1 or 2 injury prone players. You're thinking, do we really want to use all our subs on 60 minutes or 70 minutes? All of a sudden then, if you get to 10 minutes of a game to go, we're comfortably winning or something like that, you can say, okay, we've used 3 subs. Let's put Joffrey Gelhardt on for 15, 20 minutes or Greenwood on for 15, 20 minutes. No.
And with that loan law changes, there's only a certain amount of loans you can make in a season as well. So you're going to have to see more youth players come through.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's possibly might be part of the thinking on it. But the thing is, when football started, there was 1 substitution.
No, yeah, fair.
Yeah, it's going to change all the time. Football's going to evolve all the time. Your sports scientists will be saying, "Oh no, they'll be moaning for 7 subs." Sports scientists, you know what I mean? They'll be wanting more. It won't stop at 5. No chance it'll stop at 5. It will get to stupid numbers at one point.
So I just can't wait till it's got 4 quarters and dancers in that half time and that's all.
Have you never been to Milton Keynes? It's pretty good.
Brilliant. I always remember the Crystal Palace like cheerleaders and that, and one year they had a lad on them, and that. It was just mad, man. He came out and we were doing it all, man. It was it was funny. It was old school, that though. That's like mega. I think it was on like Maddie's Football Moments or whatever. But yeah, anyway, another pointless anecdote.
Right, anecdote.
I don't know. Listen,
I'll try and work out where you were going with that.
I just remember it like
Back to the sauna.
Oh, I love that, man. Oh,
you said it on Just Joe. Joe saw the chat.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely subscribe to that. That's a channel I'd watch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been going sunbeds as well, man. She could have said that I look like a beetroot. That's why, you see. Cool. Well, yeah. I think we'll leave it there. I think that's enough for tonight, don't you? I'll be back in the morning. I'm going to do my preview for the Southampton game in the morning. So make sure you look out for that, please, if you are about. And I'll be live on the evening with Gary as well. For a show we've coined Thank Football. It's Friday. Yeah. So yeah, join us for that. It's really good chat with me and guys. So I don't know, it might not be, but like in my opinion, it is, right? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, join us for that. Make sure you check out Matchday Vlogs and Jack, and of course Mike. And is Mike going to the game, Jack?
No, Mike's
away, isn't he?
Mike's in the Alps because he's an awful person. Yeah, terrible person.
Yeah, I was going to say he's one of them. He's one of them powerful. Then, isn't he? If you go skiing in Alps, you're rich. So he must be one of them.
Oh yeah, Mike's low key a terrible person, but don't worry about that. Content's really good. Content's really, really, really good. So it doesn't let that come through on camera. In reality, yeah, terrible guy. During the Leicester 9-0, he was on a flamingo floaty in Turkey. So yeah, I've got no time for him really.
Nah, I don't believe.
Which 9-0?
Yeah.
Hey.
That's outrageous. That. I apologise. That was just needless.
Yeah.
But which 9-0?
Yeah, that was the first one.
The first one.
Oscar's a bit like Mike, you know, in his little mansion over there in Southport.
Drinking your San Pellegrinos, thinking you're better than everybody. But you're not.
Yeah.
We drink Fanta.
Actually, nah. Oscar drinks Schneid Capri Suns.
Yeah.
What are they called, Oscar? I can't even remember. Sunshots, that's it.
I can't do after that thing with Lewis. I see Lewis. I can't drink that again now. After that comic came through, I thought, is that what people think? Is that what people think? I can't have sunshots on this anymore.
Schneid Capri Suns, I love it. Anyway, yeah, so Jack and Mike over on Matchday Vlogs. Watch them crying into their salty tears after Saturday, believe me. Oscar at All Leeds TV, and if you're at the match and you pay for Matchday Experience, I'm sure you'll see him interviewing legends there as well, always looking sharp as well, so make sure you check him out over there. And Corey, over on your new channel. Corey, do you want to tell us a little bit about it, mate? Do you know what I mean? A little bit of pressure.
It's basically what it was before. It's just with my name on and me just trying to build it up a little bit and like I said, freestyling and make it a little bit more kind of not informal, because I don't think I'll ever quite be able to take the foot off the gas when it comes to football for 10, 15-minute previews. But yeah, just be a lot more on there, basically. So I've got to sort out the branding and whatever, but yeah. That's
Corey Talks Football, people. Make sure you go and check it out. You know he's a top guy, so yeah, it is down there in the description. Enjoy the weekend, everyone that's watched. Enjoy the weekend, lads, as well. And yeah, have an awesome Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we'll be back Monday, I believe. Yeah, if everyone's good. Right, well, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, comments, notification. Check out these boys' channel, and we will see you here on Monday.